Hi, my name is Fred Lucci, and today we will be talking about um, Euclid's GCD algorithm. It's the algorithm for the greatest common divisor. First, we're going to have to go over some basics. First step, what is a function? In math, look at a graph. This is x, and this would be your function of x. A function is anything that you plug in a number and you'll only get one possibility. So if I plug in x, I'm only going to get that. If I plug in x over here, I'm only going to get this. In programming, it's described as a black box of some sort of operation where you put something into it and you get something out of it. Anytime you put in one thing, you're always going to get the exact same thing coming out, just like in math. Now, Euclid's greatest common divisor function is known as a recursive function, which is a function that when you put something into it, whatever comes out of it is then used to feed back into the function until you get a very specific outcome that you're looking for, in which case then it returns that answer. So a recursive function is a function that calls itself with information that it provides based on whatever is within it. Using very basic pseudocode, I just wrote out what the greatest common divisor algorithm would look like in some sort of code. So the first thing we do is we look, is x bigger than y? If it's not, then we're going to call this function, just switching those two numbers, so that we'll have the bigger number first. And then it's going to go right back through this. Then it looks to see if the remainder would be 0. Then if so, it goes back to here. If it isn't, then that's where we bring in another recursive part to it, where we just shift everything over by 1, and we call the function again, which, after I go into the next part, this will make a lot more sense. But this is a very basic of how recursion works. Euclid's greatest common divisor algorithm is using the division function in a recursive manner. So for this, we're just going to look at one line. 89 is divided by 34 two times evenly, with a remainder of 21. So that's what this stands for, quotient plus remainder. And then in Euclid's GCD algorithm, we just slide these over by 1. This slides over here, and the remainder slides over here. So 34 divided by 21, you get 1, with the remainder of 13. It goes on, you just keep sliding them over, sliding them over, sliding them over, until you end up with a remainder of 0. In which case, you then look at your last remainder, and that's your GCD, your greatest common divisor. Of course, between your original two numbers.